with the size of a World Tour squad now, do you have time to work one-on-one with every rider?
We work, yes, we do. Some big winter training camps to rattle through. We managed to aero test on the track 60% of the team.
That's
and it's actually my first time doing track testing from the other side of the fence, especially with non-track riders. I've done track aero testing, but
because they can't hold the black line.
Yeah, one rider, I won't name names, one rider almost crashed.
Name him.
No. And he was just like, I've never ridden the track, I don't know how to ride the track, and actually I don't want to do this. I was like, okay, that's fine. I don't want to be responsible for a collarbone break under my watch anyway, so and actually we're going to get nothing from this because you're going to be terrified of just riding the track over getting positionally dialed in. But you could see there was one rider, Ramele, who was a track rider, and it's like you're looking at his numbers, and Jesus Christ, he's just clocking same every CDA is not moving around at all. It's just remarkable. I'm like, what's going on here? It's like, oh, he's a pursuiter. It's like, ah. Yeah. So then the track testing, I think it's good because I think riders are under the same stresses they're under when they're, or not exactly the same because it's 8 laps versus 18k or whatever, but they're having to put power down. I think the downside to it is fatigue and an unfamiliarity of the track and a lack of yaw angles as well, but there's something to be said for it. I think my preference would still be heading to the wind tunnel though.
Well, it's like the Pareto principle, isn't it? It starts to get them 80% of the way there for 20% of the effort. You're knocking off some of the really big gains. Yeah.
And I think with Astana, you look at our roster, we do not have, I hope no one would mind, we do not have a specialist. Aaron Gate would be the closest to our time trial specialist. But even and Mike Toynerson and Fedorov are time trialists, but we do not have a Ganna's the obvious one. Say even a Mikkel Bjerg.
Yeah.
So we have GC riders who have to be good at time trialing, and that's so. It's kind of the efforts. It's where do you focus your efforts, and the time trial has been. We've made enough of an effort, let's say.
In some ways, does not having the star make it easier to assemble a TTT team?
Yeah. No, I think a TTT. I've danced around that answer, haven't I? I don't think it makes a difference. I think having a star just gives you someone to lean on, but ultimately, I think having a team that is a team is the important thing for a team time trial.
Yeah,
Trying to remove, because we had the Paris team time trial recently, and the one thing I went out, I don't know, I'd say I DS'd for the day. And the one thing I said is when I was at Movistar, alarmingly good at team time trialing for very much a lack of work in the team time trial. And I said, for me, I put that down to a fundamental lack of ego within the team. Everyone just left their ego on the bus, went and did what they could do and not a single second more. And I put that down to two things. One is the whole mentality within Movistar was brilliant. And really conducive to an ego-free team time trial. And the second thing is that obviously there was no pacing strategies, no power predictions, no how long you spend on the front. It was even when it came down to order, there wasn't much consideration for order either. So, and I'm not saying that was the best way of doing it. I was saying there's something in it. Just that like you get off the front before you start slowing the train down.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty
You
much
need a
the long and
smart
short.
group of riders to pull that off, though.
Yes. Yeah, and they were. They knew their ability, and they were. And we had a smart group of riders in Paris-Nice. So I think a couple of leaders. What happens with the team time trial as well, interestingly, is the riders take control of it. Like the more you do, like we do, the more training you do, the more the riders start talking. It's like, well, we need to do this, we need to do that, and the riders take ownership of the race because they've ridden the course. They know the course better than we do from VeloViewer and from all the tools that we have at our disposal. But they're the ones that have ridden it at speed and at power. So yeah, there's a real, and then the DS, I think depending on the DS's experience of team time trialing is how much input like they have. When I was a pro, we had one of our like people in my job for a team time trial at Copy Bartley was like, oh, this is the order I was thinking. And we all just went, nah, absolutely not. Like, park that. Don't you worry yourself about it. We'll sort this out. And we DS'd it ourselves and won it. So it's very much, and I think I have good experience in the team time trial, so I can be a lot of use, but I was very much, when you've got the likes of Case Bowl and Mike Toynerson in the group, who are natural born leaders, not afraid to say to someone, you need to do this better or you're doing this wrong. This is how you improve, and saying it in the right way, despite them being Dutch and the Dutch like abrupt bluntness. Everyone listens. So,
and
yeah.
You talked about software, VeloViewer, some of the stuff you would use for an individual time trial, you might go and use My Best Bike Split. Is there a similar type software you can use, or can you adapt My Best Bike Split for team time trials?
I just adapted Best Bike Split to get a rough idea of how long the race was going to take, basically. It's
You're not mapping out turns and power targets based off that?
Not really, no. I mapped out just off it. I mapped out a rough idea for the first 6 kilometers, because it was on the motor racing circuit, and mainly to focus around riders trying to make changes happen on turns to make changes more efficient.
Okay.
And so that riders aren't changing like just before corners and getting in the way of the entire team in a corner and making life more difficult for themselves. But I think if there hadn't have been a motor racing circuit, I'm not sure I would have even done that. I think unless it's why didn't we do it? I think it was a lack's negative. I think it was I didn't know the riders well enough. I don't know that we'd done most of their aero testing on the track, so we had a track CDA, but I'm always quite dubious about trusting. Whenever I go aero testing, I don't care much for the actual number that gets shown up. I only really care for an improvement on the day.
Yeah.
Because if you take the same position to a body rocket aero test outside, a wind tunnel test at Silverstone, a wind tunnel test in Milan, and then a track aero test, you are going to get 4 different CDAs, and I could not tell you which one is correct, and I do not care either. All I care about is on that particular session is we try and improve it.
I guess it becomes more interesting if you have the same group of riders now going to do a Giro d'Italia TT, or the base of the same group of riders. You could start to make deductions from the previous length of turns, power.
You can, you can, and they know as well. And I think the riders, it is experience as well. The riders, like for Nico Vinokourov, it's his first ever team time trial, and he was terrified. You could tell he was like just asking the most amount of questions, and he's like, "What if I do? How do I do this?" I'm like, it's very difficult to say, like, mate, you just need to stop thinking about it, but do it right.
Yeah.
But just stop thinking. You're thinking too much. Don't do that.
Roadman, whether you're a weekend warrior or a world tour rider, the right tools can make all the difference. Enter 4i's Precision 3 Plus Power Meter, the latest innovation from 4i, designed to help you reach peak performance. The Precision 3 Plus Power Meter is a compact yet powerful unit. It weighs just 9 grams and it's packed with features that set it apart, including integration with Apple's Find My network, giving you the peace of mind by letting you track your power meter wherever it is. Plus, you've got up to 800 hours of battery life. We all know that accuracy is key, and 4i's delivers a groundbreaking plus or minus 1% accuracy thanks to their unique 3D strain gauge technology. For those seeking even more data, the Precision 3 Plus Pro Power Meter offers dual-sided power meter metrics, giving you detailed insights into pedaling efficiency, torque effectiveness, and left-right balance. 4i's offers versatile product options to suit your needs. Choose from ride-ready power meters with pre-installed units on Shimano cranks, or up for factory-installed power meter, where you send in your crankset for a custom installation. Ready to elevate your cycling game? Trust 4i's Precision 3 Plus Power Meter. Precision, performance, and peace of mind all in one. Learn more by visiting 4iiii.com. That's 4iiii.com. I'm going to put that in the description down below.